Let's go to the magic of Skype and say hello to Michelle Waterson. Talk about her big win on Saturday. There she is. Michelle, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm sure you're wonderful on this Monday. Congratulations on the win. It's been a while since you felt this feeling, right?
Yes, it has, and I think, after coming off of 2 losses, it really is that's the biggest thing is, like, how do you shift the momentum? It's a real it's a mental battle more than anything.
Two losses, to the layman sounds like, okay, two losses, no big deal. But that stretched over a year for you. So 2017 after a huge 2016, and it ended on such great, on such great terms. You don't pick up that win last year. Was there a point where you felt, am I ever going to get out of this? Will I ever get back on track? Were you starting to doubt yourself?
Those that self-talk always creeps in. And it's just I think it's just us as it's human nature, you want to try to protect yourself from harm's way, and a loss is hurtful and it's heartbreaking, and it's kind of one of those things. It's like if you burn yourself, don't put your finger back on the stove, but you have to face your fears in order to overcome them, in order to conquer them, and you kind of just have to like bite down your mouthpiece and go back into the fire.
I remember prior to the Tisha Torres fight, you said that you kind of had to regain your love for martial arts. And I know that fight didn't go your way, but I'm wondering what was the secret to this training camp? Was it just continuing that? Did you have to change anything to try to get back on track?
Yeah, I think it's crazy how your journey takes you where you don't think you're supposed to go, but at the end, it's where you were supposed to be. And I've just learned so much, and outside of my fight with Tisha Torres, there was a lot of things that were going on, and outside of my control, and it affects you. No matter what no matter how you try to prepare for it, it's going to affect you, and that's why fighting is so beautiful, is because it forces you to answer those hard questions. How do you come out victorious when you still have to deal with all the outside pressures, when you still have to deal with this and that, and that's just the life that we live. You can't come out unscathed.
What was going on? Could you elaborate on that?
um my well, we were in the process of buying a new house, and
Okay.
in the process of buying a new house, my father-in-law got in a really bad car accident, um that paralyzed him. And we didn't have to, it's family, but um Josh has a younger brother who's 12, and his dad was in the hospital, and their life changed in a split second. And so to help his mother out, we took in his little brother, and it was the beginning of school year for him, and it was a huge transition for him, a huge transition for us, huge transition for his parents, and um, it's just kind of like a hard pill to swallow. And it just when you're in fight camp, you tend to be very selfish, because you have to, in order to get the right mind frame to fight. But when I'm waking up every morning and going on my runs and thinking, like, like, I have the ability to get up out of bed and go for this run, and my father-in-law can't even scratch his nose if he wanted to, stuck in the hospital. Like, those are the things that kind of like pulled on me, and made me kind of look at life differently. And that was just a period in our lives, that we kind of had to, like, hunker down and lean on each other for support, and just get through it.
I'm very sorry to hear about your father-in-law. How is he doing today?
He's he's home, and he's working on recovery.
Okay.
Every day's a battle for him.
I wish him the best. And thank you for sharing that. So you get to the fight, and what a fight it was. It was very entertaining to watch. I'm sure maybe a little more entertaining than you wanted at some points, for the casual fan. Did you honestly think, like, before you seem, I went back and watched your body language before they read the scorecards, and you seemed as confident as can be. Did you think that they were going to give it to you for sure?
Well, you never know because, like in your heart, like I knew how I felt throughout the rounds. I felt like I had round one, round two, even the majority of round three. But I know that she ended the round in those submission attempts. So in my mind, she might have stole the third round. But in my mind, I felt that I won rounds one and rounds two, and so I was just confident with how I felt throughout the fight. I still haven't gone back to look at how the fight came out, but that's just how I felt at the moment.
Which submission in particular was the trickiest to get out of? Was the deepest? Were there any that you were like, "Oh
I
snap"?
I never once was afraid
Okay.
of getting submitted. I just every time she swiveled her hips over to do it, I was mad at myself for allowing her to get her hips over. But I knew as long as I maintained top position and I held on for dear life to my arm that I would be
Yeah.
fine.
So there was never a point because you were. I mean,
So
that grip that you had, she was doing everything to try to break through it, but you never gave up once. There was never a point where you felt your hand slipping.
no, and I just kept telling myself, you win this fight, Michelle. Like you win this fight, you win. Like that's all I kept telling myself.
One thing that seemed apparent throughout the fight, and it's kind of been a theme for a few of your fights in the UFC, I think to myself, man, I wish the UFC had a 105-pound division right now because there is a size discrepancy here. Do you feel like you're fighting at a disadvantage every time because you are a natural 105er?
I know I'm a natural runner fiver, but it was my decision to move up to 115 so that I compete in the UFC.
Yeah.
So in doing that, those are the things that I have to deal with. And going into this fight, that was her biggest strength was her size. And if every time I go against somebody and I allow their size to be a determining factor, then I'm just feeding into what everybody else thinks is something that they're going to have an upper hand on. So I went into this fight with the mentality that size doesn't matter. We both weigh in at 115, so obviously, it's equal. We just are proportioned differently. She's taller. I'm shorter. I have lower center of gravity. My legs are nice, big, and strong. I have good wrestling. I can hold on to her. I can anchor down. Those are my strengths. Those are things that it's easier for me to shoot in for takedowns because I am closer to the ground. Closer to her hips.
Sure, sure. If the UFC did ever introduce a 105-pound division, would you go, or do you like having those advantages at 115?
If they introduced it, I'd have to. It'd have to be worth my while. You
Okay.
know, I we would probably have to see like as far as like renegotiations,
I like this. Business
things like.
Michelle. Yeah, renegotiate. This is great. Don't just take whatever they give you.
Yeah.
I like it. A more a sort of a mature Michelle Waterson. I like this very much. By the way, one thing that I've noticed as of late with the Jackson fighters, Jackson Winklejohn, of course, I've noticed Joey Villasenor in the corner a lot more these days, and he was in your corner as well, along with Mike Winklejohn and Greg Jackson. How many times has he been in your corner, and how is he? Of course, I mean, a longtime MMA fighter has fought for all the promotions. How is he as a cornerman?
Joey's been my big brother for a long time. When I moved out to Jackson's, he kind of kept an eye out on me and made sure that, I was safe. I was really young when I moved out to Jackson's. I was 20 years old, still very young in the sport, very vulnerable, and he always looked out for me. When I lived in the dorms, he checked in on me. When I moved out, he checked in on me. If I was sick, he'd bring me medicine. Him, Rashad Evans. Um, those guys are like the OGs that kind of like kept an eye out for me when I was first starting, and Joey's been in a couple of my corners when I first started fighting, and his career took off, and he's really within this last couple of years um, embraced his role as a coach, and it has been doing a phenomenal job. He's an amazing teacher, and because he has the skills and he has the years and experience to back up those skills. I think it's a great transition. He's in charge of our amateur program at Jackson's, and he's been in my corner for years. He's just a great motivator. He knows how to talk to you while you're in the fight. He knows how to talk to you in the corner, keep you level headed, and just say the right things.
A couple days before the fight, you had some strong words to say about what happened in Brooklyn with Conor McGregor. And anytime, I know doing this show and just in general, I know like when you talk about Conor, a lot comes with that, right? There's a lot of reaction to that. You may have shunned that all because you were focusing on getting prepared, the weight cut, all that stuff. But I'm just curious. You put yourself out there, and I thought the majority, if not everything that you said, was on point. So kudos to you for speaking your mind. But what was that like? What was the aftermath like? Did a lot of people come at you, or was it fairly civil?
You know what? The, the comment section in any of my social media handles, if it's positive, I like it and I respond, and I like to interact with my fans and the people that have like something positive to contribute, or even if it isn't positive, if it's something that we can discuss in a civilized manner, then I'm all for it. But if it's negative, and if it's just trash, I don't even acknowledge it really. The truth is, we need to be able to have civilized talks about this, to where even if we don't agree, we can come to some understanding. And there has to be an understanding. Yes, Connor is this mega superstar, but what kind of president are we setting for the rest of the fighters?
Right. Are you worried that the sport is trending in the wrong direction?
No, I have faith in the fighters to carry it through where it's supposed to go. There's too many good-hearted, kind, loving souls in the fight world. The majority of fighters that I meet are the most wonderful people.
You've had some big wins throughout your career. Of course, former champion in Invicta, coming over to the UFC. You've had wins. Where does this one rank considering the 2017 that you had? Was this a different kind of feeling? Is this one up there?
You know, it really is just like a feeling of relief, really, for me. I knew all along that that I belonged in the UFC and I belong in the rankings. It's just hard. It really is the to say it's a game of inches is, and just listening to Gaethje's post fight interview, it really is. Until you've been inside the octagon and know what it feels like to just lay your heart out on the line, win or lose, it's kind of hard to explain, really. Win or lose, when you come home, your family's there for you, and the people that care for you are there for you, and life moves on. The world continues to spin. The biggest difference is the outside world, the way people treat you from the outside that don't really have that inside look, or that day to day, that aren't with you day to day. Those are the people that treat you differently. Those are the people that don't call you back. Those are the people that don't contact you, and you have to learn to be comfortable with who you are, no matter what the outcome is.
I remember hearing an interview with a fighter. It was Artem Lobov, and he was like, "When I lose a fight, I walk down the street and I'm so embarrassed. I see a grandmother who probably has never heard of me, and I think to my mind, like in my mind, oh, she's thinking, look at this loser. He can't win a fight. Like I don't want to talk to anyone. I want to go under my covers. So the best thing to do is just get back in the gym, try to get back on track." Is that kind of what you're saying here? Like you feel like the world is kind of looking at you in a different way, even though they may not, but you just kind of feel differently about yourself when you lose a fight on a stage like that?
Yeah, 100%. It really is. I've just come to be comfortable with who I am, and it kind of goes full circle, right? Because if you're comfortable with who you are, then your confidence, you start to regain your confidence, and when you regain your confidence, that's when you can flow, and when you can flow, that's when you become victorious. And so it's like a vicious cycle. If you beat yourself up too much from your losses, then you start to listen to the self doubt. You let the self doubt creep into your head, and then it poisons your mind, and you let your then when your mind is poisoned, you can't flow. It really is a vicious cycle, and it's it's just a learning process, really.
Yeah. I can't imagine what you guys go through mentally. Like that side of it is just unbelievable. How long do you want to take off after this? I mean, how much time do you want to be, with your family, training, things like that before you return?
I don't want to take time off. My husband and I went running this morning. It was good to get a run in. I kind of was able to, just run through my thoughts, run through the last year and a half, run through everything that's happened, and be appreciative and grateful for all the things that I have in my life, all the people that I have in my life. I do want to continue to train. I want to continue to learn and grow. Um, there are things that I need to be able to get off my checklist before I get back into fight camp. If that's what you're asking, I want to spruce up my gym that we're getting set up in our backyard so that it's like cosmetically looking nice. I have some home projects that I want to do. I want to repaint the laundry room and set up, you know, um, my craft room, like little things here and there. But training, I will continue to do. I have teammates that are getting ready to fight. Holly's fighting in June. My teammate Jody is fighting in May, and they're there for me when I'm in fight camp. So I have to be there for them when they're in fight camp.
So your gym is in your backyard? It's like an outdoor gym?
It's not an outdoor gym, although it probably we could probably hook some concrete up outside and make it a bit of an outdoor gym. But remember, I told you we're moving, and
Yeah.
one of the things that we wanted when we moved was a space where we could have a gym. So and because that was kind of something that we're running into a lot too with having Araya. Not being able to train at night because obviously when we pick her up from school we have to take her here and take her there, and then we still want family time, we want dinner and stuff like that. So getting training in the evenings was really hard, so we wanted to have a space where we could get training in and Araya could still be in the comfort of her own home.
Oh, okay.
So we
And
got a gym put together in our backyard.
and so this isn't you're not in your new house right now. You're moving.
I'm sorry, what?
This isn't your new house that you're in right now. You're moving soon?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is the new house.
Oh, this is the new house.
Because it
Okay.
was
Wow.
the last.
Congratulations.
This is the new house.
That's amazing. Congrats.
It's nothing.
Wait a second. Is that the famous Master Yaya in the back right over there?
That's Mr. Yay. Say hi.
Wow.
Yay. Hi.
Hello. What did you think of your daughter's fight?
Hello. Come say hi to everybody. She's probably not gonna want to come. She's like, no, I done made the makeup.
What did she think? I wanted to ask her, but I guess I could tell. What did she think of your fight on? Oh, here we go. Wow, this is exciting. How are you?
I mean, hello.
Hello. What did you think of your daughter's victory on Saturday?
Oh, she great. She done pretty good this
Yeah,
time.
this time, yeah.
Yes.
But by the way, what do you make of
I
her
love her
always
honesty.
imitating you? Like you've become sort of a cult hero in our sport. Do you like the imitations?
Yeah. Yes, I like
This
it.
is about when I do the videos of Master Yaya, he's asking, what do you think about those videos?
Yeah. She do pretty good.
Yeah.
She do pretty good. But I think not that bad. I want
Okay.
she
Yes, I
copy me.
understand.
I'm better a little bit.
Did you give her any advice after the fight? Did you tell her anything that she needs to improve on afterwards?
No, she just done by herself.
Okay, great. That's perfect. All right. Well, congratulations. I love Michelle. Every time you're on, we get another member of your family. Your daughter was on one time. Now it's your mom. This is
Yeah,
great.
yeah, they're a part
Okay.
of it. They're all a part of it. So I couldn't do without them.
All right. Well, enjoy the
Okay,
victory.
nice to talk to you.
Yes. All the best to you
Okay,
guys.
bye.
Con-
She's
Congratulations.
a huge MMA fan.
I could tell. Yes.
She's a huge
She's
MMA fan. Um, she's always on her phone, but it's because she's watching videos, watching interviews. She's always watching you. She's always watching any type of YouTube feed that has my name in it. She's on it.
Wow, a super fan. She's even wearing a Reebok shirt right now in your house. It's amazing. I love it. That's amazing. Well, I'll let you be with your family. Thank you so much, Michelle. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations again, and all the best to you and your family. I'm very happy that you're back on the winning track.
Me too. Thank you.